What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another Tottenham update. If you are new around here, please do go smash that subscribe button. We bring you daily Tottenham content, and where else to start but the manager search once again, as Jason Burt, Romano and Matt Law have all been speaking. I mean, to be honest, it's not really new info, but we'll bring it to you anyway. Starting off with Jason Burt from The Telegraph, he says Tottenham have placed Nagelsmann at the top of their list alongside Roberto De Zerbi, Ange Postecoglou and Luis Enrique. He goes on to say that no approach has been made for Maurizio Pochettino by Tottenham Hotspur. Romano goes on to talk about De Zerbi, and he says there is a release clause or compensation formula for Roberto De Zerbi included in his contract with Brighton. However, it can only be triggered in the summer at the end of the season, and De Zerbi is very much appreciated by Tottenham Hotspur. And last but not least, Matt Law says Nagelsmann's agent has been in England this week. However, it is unclear whether or not the visit was related to Tottenham Hotspur or not.
Let's hope it was. Of course, there's always the rumours are going to be rife. Look, surely it's too much of a coincidence for Nagelsmann's agent to be in London just after all this talk. But you never know. Maybe he's here for something different. It'll be interesting to see if this Paratici news affects the managerial search. Either will new names crop up, or someone like Pochettino be much more in the frame now that Paratici looks likely to leave. It'll be very interesting to see how that affects the managerial search. But in terms of the managers there, I think all of them are pretty much the right profile, apart from maybe Luis Enrique. I think De Zerbi is going to be interesting if Poch and Nagelsmann don't work out. Do we trigger that clause in De Zerbi's contract just to test the waters and see if we can convince him? It'll be interesting to see, because
I wouldn't be against it.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of after Poch and Nagelsmann, I think if we can get him, I mean, I wouldn't be too against him being third choice, I guess.
Do you reckon though, he'd be open to coming here, especially as third choice?
That's a question mark. I mean, he does strike me as the kind of manager who might jump at the chance to do it, because he's quite an ambitious guy, and maybe this is a proper chance for him at a top club to show what he can do. But another part of me is he's only been at Brighton for 7 months, so maybe he wants to give him a bit longer before he jumps ship.
And things are going so well for him there.
Yeah, there's no real need for him to leave. So from that point of view, it's hard to envisage him leaving. But look, you've seen managers before, people like Marco Silva, who they're just highly ambitious, and even though they're doing well, when they see that next step, they don't think twice and just go for it. And maybe he's of that same mentality. It's hard to say, but logically, you would think he would stay. That's what you'd think. But it would be interesting to see if we were to test the waters in the summer, and we make him our #1 target if the other ones don't work out, what his position would be, because it would force him into a choice.
Yeah, and he's also probably thinking about it in a sense where since sacking Pochettino, they've gone through Conte, Mourinho and Nuno. Do I really want to make myself another manager on that list when it's going so well for him at Brighton? So it's an interesting decision. We'll have to see how it plays out, but there are managers before him in the pecking order, that's for sure. Moving on to Christian Stellini, Fabrizio Romano has told us that Tottenham have been very clear with Stellini. They've told him they're looking for a new coach. Stellini doesn't expect to be Tottenham coach next season, but he will give it his very best. And in terms of Christian Stellini, do you feel like if we do have a really good run from now until the end of the season, he puts himself into that conversation?
What, as permanent manager?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I don't think we intend to. We could win all 10 games. I still don't think we intend to keep him on. In my opinion,
cast your mind back to when we got Martin Jol in. He only came as #2 at that time as well, and obviously Stantini didn't last too long. Martin Jol took the job, and the rest is history.
I know, but we're in a different place right now. I don't think we would trust a long-term project to Stellini. I think we need to pick someone who we really believe everyone can buy into a project. And as much as Stellini might get us over the line in terms of the top 4 race, and he might gain the short-term respect over the players, I think it would be a massive mistake to then believe that we can entrust him in a long-term project, especially with the fact that he's probably more likely to play very similar way to Antonio Conte tactically, and we want a different approach from how to approach the game. We want more forward thinking, more risk taking, and whether Stellini is the kind of manager to entrust that with and trust him to let the shackles off, I would have my reservation. So I think there's zero chance he stays on.
Yeah, you know what? You might have your reservations. I might have my reservations. You're talking about how it would be a massive mistake, and I completely agree with you. But Tottenham are the kings of mistakes.
Yeah, but I as that news says, they're not. They've already told him he's not going to get the job. So
Yeah.
I don't think there's any chance he would give it to Stellini. Honestly, there's probably more chance we give it to Mason, I think, than Stellini, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think like if Spurs do go on a really good run from now to the end of the season, I can imagine it being a conversation, but it's nothing I would ever want to happen, that's for sure. Moving on, let's talk about Hugo Lloris and the goalkeeping situation. Dan Kilpatrick says one of Spurs' priorities under Conte's successor will be a new goalkeeper, and it is doubtful if Lloris will want to stay as an understudy. A return to Nice or elsewhere in Liga 1 or the MLS are possibilities for Hugo Lloris. And
Makes sense.
so it looks like we could be seeing the last couple of games now in these last 10 games for Hugo.
Yeah, seems that way. And it looks like he's pretty much guaranteed now to leave Tottenham with having won no trophies, which is a bit disappointing considering he's won the World Cup off in France and obviously got to another final as well. So he's shown his pedigree there. But for Tottenham, as much as I believe he's been a brilliant keeper for us, we haven't been able to get over the line while he's been here, which is a massive shame. But I think it's right, considering his form and considering the bad mistakes he's been committing over the past year. I think that, especially as well, if we're looking to go to a more progressive style of play, a more playing, well, I know we play out from the back now, but if we play out from the back in a different way to maybe we would if we had a goalkeeper who was really good at with the ball at his feet. Yeah, I mean, Lloris, I actually think how we've been playing out from the back, I don't think like the problem stemmed from Lloris, but because Lloris's job isn't to actually play, his job is to give it to the centre backs.
Yeah.
But when you have a different keeper, like when you see like Alisson or Ederson with the ball to feet, their job is not just to simply get the ball and play it to the centre back. They're literally clipping balls into full backs, even to strikers sometimes, and they're really tasked with having a really good passing range. And I think if we're going to move forward, we need a goalkeeper who's equally as comfortable in those kind of things. And I think that's where we're looking at. And obviously with Lloris getting on a bit, if he doesn't want to if he wants to not see out his career as number 2, he does need to leave. And I think if we can get a bit of money for him, it probably suits everyone. If he goes back to France, we know he's retired from international football already. So I think it just suits everyone if we part ways this summer and we get a bit of money. But if he does want to stay and be number 2 for another year, I'm not going to be against that either.
Yeah, be my guest. And he did just retire from international football as well. He got presented in front of the French fans during the week as well. So it looks as though things are on the close for Hugo Lloris. And last but not least, there's been a situation in the South Korean camp this week with Sonny and Kim Min-jae. Apparently, they have both unfollowed each other on Instagram, although I have seen from a different source as well that it's actually Kim Min-jae that blocked Sonny, so it looks as though they have both unfollowed each other. And the reason being, in an interview after the game against Uruguay, Kim Min-jae said that he was mentally tired of playing for the national team and wanted to concentrate on games for Napoli. Son, on the other hand, posted that it's always a pride to defend the Korean national team. It's interesting that, isn't it? Because obviously we know Sonny is very patriotic. Doesn't seem like Kim Min-jae feels the same.
Yeah, and well, I guess from Kim Min-jae's point of view, maybe when he's on such a good role in Napoli and they're on such a good run and they're absolutely killing it, I guess maybe he feels a bit frustrated, possibly.
It's not something you come out and say.
Yeah, I mean, it's very odd for him to say that publicly where did he say, in an interview or something?
Post-match interview, yeah. Very
odd. So maybe he got misconstrued or something, but it's a very strange thing to say while you're on international duty. Obviously, that's going to rub people the wrong way. Or a lot of South Koreans and fans of the international team, that's going to rub them the wrong way, because that should be the highest honor. There should be no higher honor than representing your country. So when he comes out and says that kind of implies that he doesn't feel pride representing his country, and you should never feel that as a player. But then again, from his point, look, I don't think there's any excuse for it. It's a stupid thing to say, but he is on a title charge in Napoli, so obviously he's probably very excited to get back to his club side when his national team, he probably is not having the same success, especially as a team. Obviously, the quality isn't the same. So
it's not even that. He gets dragged away all across halfway around the world just for 2 friendlies.
Yeah, so from that point of view, I kind of get it, but it's a stupid thing to say publicly. You should keep that to yourself. And as well, you should always give off the impression that there's no higher honour than playing for your country. If you don't, and Sonny always does that. Sonny, whatever happening at club level, Sonny always, well, maybe it's because he's captain, but he always gives his all for the national side. And he always makes it so clear how proud he is to play for South Korea. Maybe that, he was giving a backhanded criticism with that post to Kim Min-jae, maybe with the timing. So maybe that's led to a bit of conflict between the two, but I'm sure they'll get over it, you would think.
Yeah, you would think so. And I've even seen reports saying that Kim Min-jae could possibly retire from international football now, which is absolutely mental.
Seems like a bit of a knee jerk.
It seems that way. But if they can't patch things up, I think that's probably the end of Kim Min-jae to Spurs, probably.
Yeah, you'd have to settle. If they can't patch things up, someone's probably one of the main reasons he would come here. Without that, no chance.
Yeah, well, there you have it. That is your Tottenham update for today. Let me know in the comment section below if you have any thoughts regarding any of the news stories we've brought to you today. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on.